Hey there everyone, welcome back. This time I have something that I think is really special, and that is DexNav RNG. So this is applicable only to Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. You can't do it in XY. But this allows you to get Pokemon that have egg moves, that have hidden abilities, that maybe even have both, and also you can have them be forced shiny. So you can do all that, and then you can RNG their actual abilities, and that's something really cool. You can get some very powerful Pokemon. So we're going to need to have P-Calc installed, which with everything that we do right now. We're also going to need Tiny Finder, and we're going to also optionally, not necessary entirely, but optionally 3DS RNG tool. So we're going to need all three of those in order to get our perfect Pokemon. You can see here that I'm going to be starting on a Mirage Island. I find that these are among the best places to practice this, but you can do this anywhere there is grass. So anyways, let's hop in on this. I'll explain how to do it, and then we'll go ahead and RNG something really cool. So before we actually get in there, there's quite a bit of information to unpack about DexNav RNG. So I'm going to go ahead and do that as well before we actually get into it. So that way I can go into just the actual RNG part without having to explain too much. So let's bring up Tiny Finder because it's going to be something. All right, first we've got our current state. Since we're connected, I've connected this via NTR helper. I can always update my current state at any point. Just update, there you go. Great. So that's easy to do, especially if you have a physical 3DS connected. If not, you just have to enter the season yourself. So make sure you're selecting Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire so you can choose the DexNav method. Surf, very self-explanatory. Are you surfing or not? Shiny Charm, do you have a Shiny Charm or not? Exclusives. This is a little bit more complicated, unfortunately. So when you beat the game, you get access to some exclusive Pokemon that can only show up in DexNav on certain routes. Now, if you are on a route that has a DexNav exclusive Pokemon, even if you're not looking for that one in particular, make sure you have the box checked. But if you're on a route that, like for example, some areas, if you're surfing, there's no exclusive DexNav Pokemon, make sure you leave it unchecked for that case. Either way, I'm in a Mirage Island. They don't have exclusives, so I left it unchecked for myself. Step counter. 0, chain counter 0. So you could chain your DexNavs, which will increase the odds of something more desirable coming your way. And steps, we're going to be taking 19 steps, pausing, reaching our desired index, and then we're going to take that 20th step, and that will trigger the encounter. So the step counter here, this only shows up if you're connected to a 3DS via NTR, and so this will keep track of how many steps you've taken, so you know when you've hit 20, you know when you've hit 19 and you need to stop moving. So just keep that in mind. It's a lot like Egg RNG for Gen 8, for example. Min index is just leave it at 0. Max index, however far you want to go. Noise. We'll get to noise later, but essentially noise is in some areas when you close the menu, you'll jump a couple of indexes in TinyMT, and so this will account for that in the tool so that you can still hit your target index. Search level 999. I have it at 999 because I've hunted a lot of Larvesta for you all. So I left it at 999, but make sure it matches whatever your search level is for the Pokemon you're targeting. Otherwise, you'll get incorrect information. Chain. This is just the exact same information as there, so don't worry about it. Type. Normal. If you have exclusives checked, then DexNav will show up as an option too. There's 3 exclusive DexNav slots, and I'm going to paste a link to the DexNav encounters, the exclusive DexNav encounters as well. Slots. What slots are you looking for? Since this Mirage Island has only 2 different Pokemon on it, I've just selected what slots I've wanted. You can filter for success, shiny. You can filter for if it has a hidden ability or an egg move or is a sync So whatever you want. I have it filtering for success and shiny because I don't want a non-successful index. That's just not useful. Potential is kind of how many set IVs you have. Some Pokemon, if you have like potential 3, for instance, you'll have 3 set IVs, which will make things easier if you're looking for particular stats. Flute, I just ignore it. It's not worth it. And then of course the generate button. So then we're going to go down here, and so these are the actual indexes. So since I have a filter up, it's only going to show me indexes that I want. So for instance, this is index 5552. Right and up. So this is going to be very important in the actual RNG part, but essentially it's how many squares to the right and how many squares up will it be. These values can be negative, as you can see. So for instance, if it's right -8, it's actually to the left 8 squares. Keep that in mind. And any of these values can be 0, which means it's right wherever your character is. So just keep all that in mind. But we'll go further into that later on, and this is probably going to cause the most amount of trip-ups. Success type, true. We know it's going to be success. Type, normal. It'd be DexNav if it is sync. You'll know if it's sync or not. Slot. Shiny, true. So these are all guaranteed shiny indexes. If you trigger the encounter on this index, it will be guaranteed to be shiny. You don't have to worry about anything else. You don't have to worry about RNGing it to be shiny. It will be force shiny. And then the beautiful thing about that is that then you can go into 3DS RNG tool and RNG the stats. So that's really cool. Level, does it get a level boost? HA is a hidden ability. Egg move, does it have an egg move? And then potential, which we've already kind of gone over. Flute, ignore, rand, ignore. And then here are the 3 tiny MT seeds that you'll know you're on the right index. Whew, that's a lot of stuff. Now, the method. We are going to take 19 steps. We are going to then get into the bag and then reach our desired index. Well, not right desired. We're going to reach 15 indexes before, because when we close out of the bag, we'll jump 15 indexes. Then we are going to get. Then when we are 15 behind rather. We are going to then use 3DS RNG tool to get the frame with the desired stats. We're going to close out of the menu of about 100 frames before our target frame, and then we're going to close out of all menus and take a step on our target frame. This will trigger the DexNav encounter with the stats we want. That is our method. So, all right. Let's actually get into it, now that I've gone through and talked for feels like forever about this. And in case you're not aware, I am doing some editing here because I don't want to have to repeat all this again. So let's hop into it, and this next one will probably be a success. Alright, so here we are, we're in here, and I'm looking for indexes. So I found one that I think looks fairly decent. So this one is pretty far away, so I've got plenty of time to chat up, but the important thing here to note is the right and up. So since this is negative, it's actually going to be to the left 6 spaces, and then down 7 spaces. So the most important thing, and this will trip you up the most, and it tripped me up a lot when I was practicing this, is that you need to make sure that there is a patch of grass at that space. Otherwise, it won't use the target, it'll use a later one, and you won't get what you want. So let's see, we use the D-pad for this, of course. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's great. So we know that there's grass there, but now we have to go down 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That does not actually exist, so yeah. Well, this should be a good spot here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that won't work. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That won't work either. It's definitely a 1, 2, 3, 4. It's definitely a little bit of a battle here. So we've already got, let's remember this spot here, and we'll just go ahead and, okay, I think it was right here. This should be still fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. Always make sure you're using max repel. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Okay, here we are. So now we're in our spot. Hit update, because now you see the step counter is at 14, so we want to get to 19 here. And turns do count as a step in this case. Alright, we're at 19. So now we have the index we want. It's coming up. We've got plenty of time, so we're not going to miss it. We know that there is a patch of grass where that Pokemon will spawn. So we're going to get these here. We're going to get an egg move. It's going to have a good potential. It's going to get a level boost. It will be shiny. And I know it'll be a Larvesta, but it won't have a hidden ability or anything like that. So now you need to figure out your noise. So when you, in some areas, if you have the menu open like this, and then you close out of the menu, it will advance Tiny MT by a little bit due to NPCs. So to do this, we'll go ahead and just click ignore filters. So you can, this way you can see all your indexes. So go and you hold down X on the 3DS and you go advance 10 frames. Yeah, you just hold X and you're advancing 10 frames. So this closes out the menu. And if Tiny MT jumps, then you just look at these and figure out how many indexes did it jump and put that number into your noise column. This area does not have any noise, so we don't have to worry about it. Alright, so here we are. We've got things mostly figured out. We've got our index figured out. We've got to 19 steps, so we know that our next step will trigger an encounter. Now we have to actually get the index kind of closer. So for that, we're going to use Pokemon Ami, because as you can see here, it advances indexes quite a bit. So you're going to want to get close. You don't have to get like within 100, because there's some manipulation you can do inside the bag where things are frozen, but you have to get a little closer. So we're just going to let this run for a minute. Okay, I think we're pretty close. 477. Alright, that's fine. Make sure that you close out of Pokemon Ami, because otherwise that will really mess things up. Alright, we're going to hop into the bag. Tiny MT is now frozen. We don't have to worry about it. Let's go see. 359. That's not bad. Not bad. Now it's time to get out the calculator, because you don't want to actually be at your target index. You want to be 15 indexes before. So 359 minus 15 is 344. So that's our actual where we want to be. And so let's go ahead and do our math here. 19 times with the EXP share. That'll be fun. Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and do that and catch you when that's done. Okay, so I've used the EXP share. Remember, the EXP share will advance you 3 times the number of party Pokemon amount of indexes, so in this case 18. So we're at 17, so we just have to use TM twice. Yes, so once you get to this screen, you see it advances. We're going to close out. We're not going to give up on reading it because we want to go back to the summary screen one more time. Stop. Okay, now we're done. Okay, so let's go ahead and update. Yes, 15 indexes to go. So if we were to close out of the menu now, we would be at our target index, and if we took a step, we'll trigger a DexNav encounter. But we want to also RNG the stats now, so make sure you have, if you're on an actual physical 3DS, make sure that you have the berry or any tab completely empty, because it makes this RNG part a little bit easier. Now we're going to go ahead and pause here, because we do not want to advance too many times, and we're done with Tiny MT, with Tiny Finder for now. We're going to bring up the 3DS RNG tool. So 3DS RNG tool, if you're doing DexNav RNG, make sure that you change it to X or Y and then change it to Poke Radar. Now, because the important thing is because chain length. Potential will kind of correspond to chain length. In the case of Potential 3, you set the chain length to like 61 to 80. And then you just go down for that. So 2 would be 60 through 41. 1 would be 21 through 40, and 0 would be 1 through 20. So just keep that in mind so that you can RNG the right stats. So I'm going to go ahead and put in, I already got my initial C put in, and your TSV is the same. Even if you have it in game version Y, it'd still be fine. And we'll enter in 24942. Since we're at potential 3, let's look for 5 perfect IVs, because we don't have to worry about the fact that it's going to be shiny or not. It's 4 shiny. You're going to see a lot of frames here. Like, look, we got a perfect 6 IV frame here. But when you're going for things, try to go for multiples. So, like, for instance, 25169 and 25170 are the exact same stats. And this is great because if you're on even or odd, you can still hit this. Oh, and one last thing. I always take a step to trigger DexNav because I find it more comfortable. Make sure you set your delay to 24 for this instead of 14. Alright, so let's get greedy because these are all acceptable. So let's try to hit this 25161 because that would be kind of incredible if we could. Alright, so you want to close out of this menu about 100 frames before your target frame. So we're already at 24942, so we're going to be doing that really quick. And just hit the B button, don't hit X, because that closes out everything. Okay, so now we're going to pause it. We're going to go back to Tiny Finder real fast and look at the index, and you can see that in pCalc and the index and Tiny Finder, the indexes match up, so we know we're at our target here. So when we take a step, we're going to be golden. Alright, we're done with Tiny Finder again. So back to 3DS RNG tool. Alright, so here we are. We're going to be going for... Now, we're on an even track, so unfortunately that won't... 25161 won't work. But we can do 25160. That should be fine. Now, you want to advance and then close out the menu with the X button. Hold X and then close out the menu when you are 10 frames from your target. So let's just go a little bit. We're going to go up to 25150. Okay, so now I'm holding X and I'm going to hit select 5 times essentially. Okay, so here you are. Now you want to take it. I do a step. So that's how I do it. But you only want to take one step. So I have my D-pad, I'm holding right, and I hit A to take a step. And you can see that DexNav pinged. So now all we have to do is find it. It's a bug fire, so we know it's a Larvesta. It looks like it's in the right spot, so we just have to sneak up on it. Alright. Start our fight. Alright. And we got a shiny Larvesta. The stats are a little bit off because I think my chain is wrong. But otherwise it looks fairly right. So let's go ahead. First off, I'm going to pause this and let's go and verify. 251. Let's go with 50. Clear out all of our stuff here. And oh, okay, yeah. Well, you can see right here that we were off by our delay should have been 22 rather than 24 in this case, because we were aiming for here and we ended up hitting here. Not a huge deal in this case. It's just a matter of one IV, but just keep that in mind that your delay may not always be the same thing, because in this case I thought it was always going to be 24. I was wrong. However, you can see here we have quite a Larvesta, and I know it was pretty short because I was just trying to get the encounter started, but you saw in the scan results that it had an egg move. Oh, let's close out 3D Tiny. We'll bring up Tiny Finder again. Close out 3DS RNG tool, but you can see that it had an egg move, and it had a level boost and potential 3, which we obviously can figure that part out. So here we are. We look at this amazing Larvesta. Let's just go ahead and catch it with a Master Ball, because why not? I can do that. And that's all there is to it. I mean, the biggest part of DexNav RNG is just making sure that you are in a spot where that your target index can still spawn a Pokemon. Because I've run into so many times that I've miscounted, and then I end up not hitting the index that I wanted. But there you go. There's our new buddy. So that's all there is to it. If you have questions, join the Discord, ask away, because this one is pretty complicated, but it can have some really, really amazing results. So that's all I've got for today. Next time we'll do something probably a little bit easier. And there's also something going on in Sword and Shield that I think is really cool, especially for people who do not have CFW on their Switches. So, just let that percolate for a little bit. Until then, I'll see you, but take it easy, and good luck out there.